Hey there, Vern Warnke here, your Sheriff Corner from Merced County, and today I've got a very special guest. I got to tell you, Merced City, I'm going to say you found a unicorn. You've got one of the finest men I've ever had to deal with as far as being a police chief. I got to watch out because I think he'd be great sheriff material, so I'm going to say that, but I mean it very seriously. Steve Stanfield, he comes from Modesto, Merced City, finally did it right. Anyway, Chief, welcome, and again, we're just having conversation. None of it's scripted. How's it been? You've been here a few months now, and
yeah, it's been exciting, and thank you for the kind words. First of all, it actually has been the most exciting and the most rewarding position that I've held in my almost 26 years. You know, I come down from Modesto; it's not that far, but when you talk about a unicorn, I think the Merced County area is just this beautiful community that really we need to express to the rest of California about how wonderful it is to work, live, and play here in Merced. It's just a wonderful community.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I have this thing, I'm in love with the county, and it includes the cities within the county, and the people in this county have deserved so much more than our government has given them. And finally, the city of Merced, the citizens in this city, they got you. And I've seen the changes already come into the police department. Great changes. You know, some of them I imagine have been difficult decisions because, like you said, first couple of days you had to do some stuff.
It's always hard, Sheriff. You know, I have a great peer group here. It's very nice to be able to bounce those ideas off yourself and some of our colleagues at Atwater and Los Banos and Livingston and Dos Palos. We have just a nice group of leaders that we can get together and bounce ideas off of. It's definitely not working in a vacuum when you work in Merced County. We are a team and we make decisions together. But this city has great leadership. New city manager and I started about a week apart from each other, so we're both brand new. So city manager Scott McBride.
I'm glad you gave him a shout out because I've been a cop a long time, and I see a city manager who's doing it right. He's telling the chief, do your job, and I like that. So
yeah, extremely supportive, and the department heads, everybody, even your staff. You know, we're right across the street from each other, and we are partners, and it's nice to be able to work with our county partners, and you guys come over to my agency, and our guys are reaching out to you, and it's just nice to work together as a team.
It feels like it's getting better. You know, we've always worked with each other, but it just seems to be more of a, all right, hey, we're a team now, and I really like that, and the citizens are going to actually start seeing some fantastic results based upon the relationship that our agencies are coming up with, and I just think that's wonderful. Let's talk a little bit. You were chatting before we got on the tailgate. You had a lot of stolen cars in your city, so what's going on with that?
Yeah, well, at the beginning of the year, I think you knew, Sheriff, we divided the city into 4 area commands, and I assigned each lieutenant an area command. And one of the things we wanted to address is what kind of crime's going on in our community. One of the highest crime rates that we had in the month of January when we really launched this area command was auto theft. We had over 70 vehicles stolen in Merced. Almost said Modesto.
Well,
old habit.
I get it.
Almost 70 vehicles stolen in that month alone. So you probably saw us do a hard push to try to educate our community through social media, through the handing out of vehicle clubs that we got free through a grant, and we really tried to lower our auto theft rates. Yeah. So what we're seeing is a huge reduction in auto theft. This last month, we only had 26 vehicles stolen in this city, which is an extremely low number for Merced,
that's a huge...
when the monthly average is in that 60 to 70 realm. Yeah. So we are seeing huge reductions in crime rates here in this community, and that's through the partnerships. And one agency I forgot, which I'm going to be at later today, is our UC, who's getting ready for their graduation. Yeah. Another huge partner that shares resources and shares cameras and shares their staff so graciously with us. So we're really making great headway in reducing auto theft.
Well, it's, you know, when you talk about these other agencies, I don't know that folks realize how much we depend on each other, because I don't know that we'll ever be fully staffed or have every widget that can come down for each agency, but because of the cooperation between our agencies, it's phenomenal. You know, we deal a lot with the federal pen, and we've had several wardens come through, but every time they come through, and they've got a lot of resources that are available to us, and they've been showing up at our chiefs meetings. So I'm excited for the city. I'm excited as coming through the city a lot, I love to see the presence. I've seen a lot more of your folks out in the black and whites and on the motors, and it's a huge comfort. It's a huge comfort to see that, and I tip my hat to you, and I mean that genuinely. It's not to put sunshine in your ear, but this city's needed somebody with your vision and your capabilities and the relationship that you have with the city manager.
Well, and I think, Sheriff, one of the things that we in law enforcement, and I'm using this generally, is we forget to listen to our citizens.
Yeah.
And when I started, I tried to get out as much as I can, and you know that because you're out there just as much. And the citizens really wanted us to address traffic in this town, and that was a genuine concern. So as a successful sheriff here in this county, and as somebody who wants to be a successful chief, I have to learn to listen to the community, and their outcry is we need more officers on motorcycles, and we have 6 motorcycles. We newly authorized an auxiliary motor unit.
No, we have to stop. Every time we go to do this, there's a train somewhere. Listen in the background.
It's Merced.
Every single time.
Right. I sit in my office and I go, one moment, because the train, and then people laugh at me, and then I go, okay.
We used to have bomber breaks when the B-52s flew over, and so it just kind of, that's been our thing. We went to Planada and did this in Planada. Sure enough, within 10 minutes, train comes through. But no, having the motors out has just been very critical, I got to tell you, folks, it's great. Now, some of you that have been on the receiving end of one of those motor units, folks, there's a reason for that. It's not just getting a citation. You got to slow the heck down. Drive correct, because if you run over one of my grandchildren, do you think I'm going to care? What your excuse is? No. Slow down. The speed limits are there for a reason, and I get it. We're all in a hurry. But by gosh, it's a safety issue, and we've got to keep that in mind. And what you're doing to help us has just been phenomenal. I appreciate it.
Sheriff, that's a great point. It's not about writing tickets. It's not about writing 50 tickets a week to get a free toaster at the end of it. That's not the reward. The reward is we can make our streets safer, we can reduce crashes, we can reduce vehicle fatalities, we can lower insurance rates, and we can overall make our streets safer for everyone. There's 2 colleges in this town, and there's a lot of college kids that ride bikes and walk, and we want to make as comfortable and as safe a transportation route as we can for them.
Well, it's meaningful because, like I say, it's that broken window theory. You're taking care of we'll call it the small stuff by maybe issuing some citations, but it's also an education for the drivers. They've got to know, hey, slow the heck down. I drive this truck a lot, and I know a lot of you have seen me out there. I make a lot of vehicle stops, and it's quite easy when you're not marked. But you know what character is, and I always maintain this, is what you do when you think no one's looking. You know what, by gosh, we're looking. There's people looking, and you know what, do the right thing. Do the speed limit. When you see a school bus, don't pass it when it's got the red lights going on. My gosh. So that's, again, the little things that is going to start really making a huge difference. In just a few short months, you've taken from 70 vehicles to 26 being stolen. And that's a huge thing, because who wants to be number 1 in stolen cars?
Yeah, and to your point, Sheriff, when we address a lot of these little things, we're starting to see reductions in crime stats across the board. Robberies are down 20% this quarter to last quarter in 2023. We're seeing aggravated assaults are down almost 35% this year compared to last year. So when we take the time to address the little things, we are starting to see reductions in what I would call the large things.
Right.
Injury to people, robberies, a lot of these things that are just extremely concerning to this community. And honestly, we owe it to the community to make this as safe as possible.
Now, I know I've been doing this a couple years more than you, and I remember being in the academy. We had an old crusty sheriff come in, and he said, you know how do you tell the success of a patrol deputy? And, well, yeah, I'm making all these arrests. He said, no. He says, it's the absence of crime in your beat. If you're out there taking all these calls, you're not doing something on the other end. Well, if we get staffing to where I'm hoping to get back to at the sheriff's office, we can start looking at the absence of crime in the beat. And a lot of people with statistics, they say, you know what, we really don't need that many cops. You don't have that much crime going on. Well, that's why we don't have that much crime going on. And I believe in that philosophy. Is we get out there and be proactive. It helps. And what you're doing is proactive with our city here. It's already making a difference, and you've been here a few short months.
Yeah,
so.
it definitely is an allocation of resources. We have to make sure our resources are doing the right thing, which is addressing crime, listening to our citizens. None of us, yourself included, are advocating for sworn officers to sit in an office and answer phones, and we want them out in the field, engaging our community, battling that crime, writing traffic tickets, keeping our community safe, because that's really what our citizens expect from us. And that's what we're all trying to do.
Well, expect and deserve. You know, I'm a huge advocate for everything we got going on, especially the personnel that you and I are leading. We got to take care of the men and women that are actually wearing the brand and going out and doing these jobs. And if we're not taking care of them, they're not going to be able to take care of the citizens. So when I'm advocating for my agency, and I know you've already done it for yours, it's important for people to know if we don't take care of the men and women doing the job, they can't do their job. So my hat's off again. Like I say, I didn't want to come in here to have a, you know, a kumbaya session, but I'm very sincere in my feelings about what you're doing. I'm very proud that you're our police chief, and I just truly see great things in our future here. So keep it up for us. Anything you want to cover before we get going?
No, I just want to thank you. You know, it is really a collaborative group here, with all of us working together. You know, the reality is this is one of those communities where we really understand that crime affecting the city police department is affecting the sheriff's department, which is affecting Los Banos and our UC and our Atwater chief. And us having those collaborations is just really a blessing, because you don't see that in every community. You don't see everybody working together and trying to achieve the same thing. And really, I look forward to all the things that we can accomplish as a collective police and sheriff's unit through this county. And I think that, to your point, the most valuable resource that all of us have, no matter what agency we work for, is our staff. And I'm just so thankful for all they do, the 24/7 work ethic they have, you know, the almost 8,700 hours that they have to put in a year, because we never shut down, as you well know, and it's always hard because we have big budgets and expensive toys, but the reality is that those are utilized to keep our citizens safe, and they do expect and deserve our very best.
Well, that's exactly right, folks. So you're hearing it here, nothing scripted, and this is very real. So for all you folks that are in the city of Merced, this is your new police chief, and I am so proud that he's a part of what we got going on, and understand we work well together. So thanks.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Absolutely.